I'd like to talk to you about a presentation that I think you'll find very interesting. It's called the Thunderbirds Go to War. And it's not about the United States Air Force's aerobatic team, but it's about the 34th Aero Squadron, which became the 34th Bombardment Squadron. Now, the history of the squadron starts in 1917 during World War I, and then later in the 20s it became the 34th Pursuit Squadron, and then in 1932 the Air Force allowed it to adopt the famous Thunderbirds logo as a squadron emblem, and it was still the 34th Pursuit Squadron. But somebody in the United States Army Air Corps headquarters decided that should be a bomb squadron. In 1938, decided to call it the 34th Bomb Squadron, equipped it with the Douglas B-18 bomber, and then in 1941 it began to get a more modern airplane, the B-25A. It was moved to McChord Air Force Base, which actually was McChord Army Air Corps Base, in 1941, and it began to fly anti-submarine patrols over the northern Pacific out from that area. Then, after Pearl Harbor, it was moved to Columbia, South Carolina, where it did the same thing. It flew anti-submarine patrols in the Atlantic off the coast of Carolina and in Georgia. But in March of 1942, an interesting thing happened. A gentleman by the name of James Doolittle came to the squadron, which had the most experience flying the B-25, asked for volunteers for a secret mission, which turned out to be the Doolittle raid. About 70% of the crews from the 34th wound up flying on the raid. The other crews came from its sister squadrons in the 17th Bomb Group, the 37th and the 96th. But the raid left the squadron without any airplanes. So the United States Army Air Corps, in its infinite wisdom, rather than give them B-25s, they decided to equip it with the brand new Martin B-26 bomber. Now, this airplane has an interesting reputation. Some think it's good, some think it's bad, but nonetheless, the 34th took the B-26s to war, and this is their story. They're a squadron of many firsts. They're the first medium bomber squadron to get to North Africa after the invasion of North Africa called Operation Torch. They flew their first missions within days of the invasion, and then continued throughout the rest of the war. But this presentation focuses on them getting ready to war, and then the trip from the United States to Telegrama, which is a base in Algeria, right after Torch, and then the months up to about December of 43, when they moved from Tunisia to Sardinia. I think you find it pretty interesting. I cover skip bombing missions, torpedo bombing missions, as well as level bombing missions, and a lot of detail about the B-26 and why in many ways it was superior to the B-25, and by the end of the war it actually had a lower accident rate than the B-25 and actually had the lowest loss rate of any twin-engine bomber in World War II.